I, 30 female, have been living in this apartment for over 3 years. I initially moved in with my ex, and he moved out when we broke up. In desperation, I tried to find someone to help pay rent and happened upon my roommate, 26 female, who initially seemed to share the same ideals and goals for maintaining a place. Here we are 3 months later. I'm moving out to a more expensive place alone because, quite frankly, she's gotten on my last nerve. I'm no stranger to mental health issues. In a transitional period of my life after a 6-year relationship, neurodiverse AF on top of a busy teaching schedule. However, based on information disclosed and observation of her behavior, she's got some sort of personality disorder. I try to be sympathetic to that, but when she twists my words, even though they're literally right there in the Discord chat, it makes me seem like a scammer and a lazy piece of crap, and tries to micromanage cleaning, like literally makes me do the heavy lifting as if I were the landlord on her schedule, making me put off plans, etc. Well, it just became really difficult. This is her first time away from home. So on top of treating me as a landlord rather than a co-tenant, she doesn't know how anything works, therefore misplaces blame that are clearly tenant responsibilities. She deemed me untrustworthy from the very beginning. I will take accountability for the shortened timeline, but I was as clear as I could be on communication. She's claiming that I lied about the apartment being move-in condition. I literally have photos. I left her room, bathroom, and living room as spotless as I could. I mentioned that because I had been living here with crippling depression for years, it would take me some time to sort out some clutter, which I'd been actively doing until her actions triggered it again. She was seemingly understanding of when she'd walked in the first time. I asked her for 2 weeks to get the place sorted, and I would prorate her rent. Instead, she signed the lease without viewing the place, which forfeits her right to inspection, because she wanted to move in the day after my ex moved out, and has been a tyrant ever since. I write this having now spent another day away from work due to the crippling anxiety of creeping around her. She's seemingly kind one day, and then awful the next. But I guess I'm willing to pay more for my peace of mind in my own space. I'd spent the past 6 years taking care of someone else financially. Ironically, I brought someone into this space that I loved and fought so hard for, only to be disrespected, demeaned, and tore down. I'm heartbroken because the rent is super cheap and it's an awesome space for the price and literally everything I could ask for. Unfortunately, after contacting my manager, she reiterated to me that California state law protects co-tenants' rights. Anyway, on to bigger and better things. But here's a fun list of things that she's done because I need cathartic release. So, she tried to short me on rent by calling them rent reductions to cover her moving fees. Case 1. My ex moved out the day before she arrived. I hadn't been staying in the house to give him his space. I had to clean out the entire apartment in a night with a friend helping me. Yo, the ex didn't clean up the apartment at all? Terrible ex.
What are these people in the story?
She wanted to take whatever money was used for cleaning supplies, patching, repairs, etc. out of the deposit, and the deposit stays with the unit, so she had to pay moving in. Fine. My ex and I agreed to it. Suddenly, she determines that he doesn't deserve his deposit at all and starts itemizing BS bills that are responsibility and called it a rent reduction. All of this came out of my pocket because she threw a tantrum and called me a scammer and what have you. Case number 2, the fridge. She stops me right as I'm about to leave and mentions that we need to get a fridge. It then becomes my sole responsibility. We're on a tight budget. I reach out to the guy on Craigslist, I handle everything, and then she asks if I have a friend with a truck. Friend with a truck is not available, so she calls some dude that she knows. I'm assuming not a friend because she referred to him as a B-word with a back injury, and then asks if there's anyone else I know that can help. I phone my current boyfriend who takes the time out of his day to help us despite having plans. She volunteers me to pay her friend, but doesn't mention anything about my boyfriend at this time. She didn't even acknowledge or thank him. I confronted her about it, and her reasoning was, your boyfriend is 47 years old with a job. He's a day laborer, basically, but go off, sis. Dude is not my boyfriend. He's a 30-year-old kid that lives with his parents, which I teach children, so is definitely not a child. I asked, so because he's my boyfriend, he's supposed to just do us a favor? She seemed pretty justified, and she tacked that onto her rent reduction.
Adding rent reduction that doesn't exist.
TLDR, she tried to short me on $300 of rent. When I told her I wanted to pay separately, she accused me of not having the money to pay in the first place and then proceeded to call me a scammer. She left the front door open for an entire weekend. Thankfully, my cat wasn't home, but my neighbor's cat broke in and pissed on my rug. The neighbor was kind enough to let me know and shut the door. In addition, my roommate has repeatedly left both doors unlocked. There's no respect for my property. She's broken 2 of my personal belongings. One is a ceramic cup that I made, and she burnt a hole in my couch. She trapped a spider under one of my mugs for 4 days, even after I confronted her about it. Prior to this, she chose to insult me by saying, "Who needs like 30 mugs?" Like, listen, people know I love mugs. They buy them for me. I'm sorry. She expects me to do landlord things on her watch. She wanted me to move the stove. Chat, I am 5'3", 110 pounds soaking wet. I'm not moving no goddamn stove because she wants it clean. She expected me to drive back to work for a shop vac over the weekend. I bought a shop vac to shut her up. I wake up Saturday morning to her screaming bloody murder. "I sprained my wrist cleaning your ex's bathroom." You mean your bathroom? She got mad at me about the shop vac and then blamed me for her sprained wrist when I asked what I could do to help her. She left the gas running for 2 days on the stove with a candle lit, and she was asleep. I nearly passed out when I walked in. She wants me to clean the kitchen, but I literally have not been home. She's been using it. She took over the pantries and the fridge. She uses the kitchen all the time. Just clean up after yourself, dude. She wants to clean together all the time, and my schedule differs from hers. When I mentioned I'm literally on a teacher's schedule, our jobs never end after the bell rings. We are all constantly stressed. She clapped back with, "Well, I'm busy too." Bro, you work from home. Before you ask me if I talked to her about this, I tried. I told her how she made me feel in the space I invited her into. I talked about how important it was for me that she stopped disrespecting me in a space I fought so hard to keep, because she does this creepy, weird, hot and cold thing where 1 minute she's nice and the next minute she snaps at me. I talked a bit about the struggle that led me here. She proceeded to mock me with laughing emojis and tell me I needed help, which, fine, I've been looking for a new therapist forever. And she said that my emotional baggage isn't her problem, that she's a human being too. She told me that I needed to be more empathetic, which, yikes, dude. I'm hypersensitive, vigilant, and self-aware. So I think that maybe she missed the mark on that one. Anyways, there's so much more. I guess this should also serve as a reminder to be a good roommate. I'm just happy I won't have to hide like a recluse in my room anymore, and that I'll be living where I want. So good luck, everyone. There's another side. Just get there.